So what are your guys' names and where are you guys from?
I'm Heidi Rocky, and I guess originally I'm from Buffalo, New York, but I haven't lived there since I was 17. We met in Georgia and were married and had our kids there. So that's what the license plate says.
Yeah, I'm from, my name is Khalil Rocky, and I'm from Morocco. I was born in Morocco, Casablanca, and met, 13 years ago?
Very cool. And are you guys full-time RVers?
Yes.
Yes.
And what are you guys full-time in?
30-foot Airx 1990s, Class A, has no slides.
No slides.
How long have you guys been full-time?
We were July 4th of
2014.
Yeah.
And is it just you two?
No, 3 kids.
3 kids. So what in the world made you guys want to live in an RV?
We lived in Morocco for about 3 years, and so we were coming back to the States. We didn't know where we wanted to
Morocco.
So we were living in Morocco for about 3 years. We decided we were coming back, and we knew that we needed to be in Georgia for a few months, but we didn't want to settle there, and so we didn't want to have to put in all the expense to set up an apartment, buy furniture, and all of that jazz. So we bought the RV, and it just kind of became addictive. We liked it, and so we stuck with it.
Well, before that, remember when we were a year before we moved back to Morocco, we came here on vacation. So we decided just to go and visit my sister. She's in Canada, so we bought a van. We were here for a month?
We were here for 5 weeks, and we traveled for 3 of those weeks.
So we bought a van, and we traveled we went all the way from Georgia to
we did Georgia to Buffalo to Montreal.
With your kids?
With our kids in a van.
And we have grandma too, your grandma.
Yeah, well, my grandma came into Oregon, so we did Georgia to Buffalo, Buffalo to Montreal, back down to Buffalo, across the top. We did like Mount Rushmore and Yellowstone.
Yeah.
Went to Oregon. And my grandmother flew in and met us in Oregon and kind of stuck with us for the rest of it. And then we went from
in the van?
In the van. Minivan and a tent.
In the tent,
and my grandma's in her 70s.
We saw the van and then flew back, and that's,
Hold on, I didn't finish the trip.
Sorry, go ahead.
So we were in Portland. We went from Portland to San Francisco, went over to Vegas for a night, did the Grand Canyon, came across, did Oklahoma, came back to Georgia. He took the test he needed to take. We sold the van, and we went back to Morocco.
Back to Morocco.
So the whole trip, we bought the van for $2,000 and we sold it for $1,000. So it cost us $1,000 plus gas and little repairs.
License plate and all that stuff.
Yeah. Insurance.
So that was all tent camping.
That was all tent camping.
So we decided if we can do that on tent camping and we'd like to travel, why not? We just buy RV and just do it.
And we talked about when we were in Morocco, we talked about getting an RV and going through Europe.
Yeah.
But it was an expensive outlet, and we weren't quite sure we knew what we were doing, so it's easier. This is like our start, and then if we want to go and do Europe later, we'll kind of know the ins and outs.
So officially, whose idea was it to live in an RV?
Mine.
Or was it just both of you guys were like,
well,
I had to push. Talked about it. We had talked about it for a while, but it was his idea to get in the RV at that point.
Well, I thought, if you're gonna come to the state and then either rent or buy a house, you need to buy everything, the fridge or like furniture and everything. And we want to travel, we don't want to be stuck. So you buy the RV, and it comes with, ours already have 2 beds, a fridge, a stove, 2 TVs. I mean, the day we bought it, the day was like, okay, we can,
Well, it even had
sleep.
like blankets on the boys' beds and sheets and stuff. It was crazy how much it had.
So what does your guys' friends and family think?
They're excited we're back in the States. My family was just excited that we were back in the States. I have some friends who are not fond of the idea. I was told when we first started that by a friend that we were going to expose our children to child molesters and predators and all kinds of issues along those lines. And she's come around, but it was a bit more of a struggle on the friend side. The family was just like, yes, you're back in the States. And my grandmother full-time RV'd for 11 years before my grandfather died. Wow. So we had a little bit of experience in our family of what that looked like.
At the beginning, it was a little challenge because you don't know, especially when you hit the road and okay, what is the black thing? Which one it's what? And
Well, and we were broke because he was doing student teaching, and so we were just living off of my business, and that wasn't making anything at that point.
So that rolls into my next question of what kind of experience do you guys actually have before living in an RV? What kind of RV experience?
None.
None of
Nothing.
Well, when I was 11, my grandparents were living in an RV, and I'd stayed with them. Does that count as experience?
Sure.
I never drove,
Yeah.
it was, really exciting when we bought it, and then I'll have to drive it to our place and get, to your grandma's. And that was exciting because the road is small. I'm used to a small car and everything, but man, that was
a trip.
that was just a trip.
So when you guys bought it, what are some learning curves you had to learn about the RV?
Leveling. That was huge. And especially we had my grandma with us who had done this. So we took her for our first trip to Vegas, and she went with us. But she had a nice fancy RV where you push the button and it levels.
Yeah, we don't have those,
any of that. So that was a huge deal when we first started trying to figure out how to make it level, and how to make that work.
And mechanical stuff, and because I'm not mechanic, but thanks to the internet, and you go and ask and all that stuff, and sometimes you just figure out on your own.
For sure. So do you guys move a lot, or are you stationary most of the time?
Depends on the day. Right now, lately we've been working from job to job. So we left Georgia in January. We went to a farm in South Carolina for 3 months. And then we traveled for a couple weeks. And then we were on a farm in Michigan for about 3-4 weeks. We traveled for a couple weeks. And then we were in South Dakota for 5 months?
5 months, almost 5
Something
months.
like that. And we worked at a campground there. And then we traveled for a couple weeks, and now we're here in Texas working for Amazon.
Gotcha.
Well, he's working for Amazon.
Right. What kind of adjustments did you guys have to make going from a house to an RV, especially with a family of 5?
Well, we didn't go from a house to an RV. I think if we did, it would have been a lot harder.
Yeah.
We went from a big house, and we moved to Morocco. We went to a villa, which was smaller, and then we went to an apartment, which was smaller. And so we were really going from an apartment to the RV, which is good. Like, I think it was much easier for us because we did stepping stones. I think the biggest issue for us, changing-wise, is that there's no floor space for the boys to play. So I've got a 4-year-old, and he wants to build blocks and towers and race cars, and there's not a whole lot of space for him to do that. So that was a big change. And then once you make that change, making sure that they're not sitting in front of a device all day, because that's the option, to keep them still. Well, go play on your laptop, go play on the TV, and you don't want that all the time. And so it's even till now, like when it's raining and we can't just, let's go outside and ride our bikes, it's really challenging to keep them off of those devices all day. It's more work, because they can't just pull out the blocks and start building. They can, but then I can't walk. And so it's more of me having to suggest, you need to play this, let's play a board game, let's draw pictures, let's do something.
So is it organized play a lot of the time, since there's no floor space, or do you toss them outside a lot?
I toss them outside.
And they learn how to play with whatever they have, like games, or like if they're gonna be on their devices, they would rather be on educational videos, and then they can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
It's
I make them earn their time.
I think it's not a big difference between having a house or living in a house, living in an RV. It's just how you're gonna tell them what needs to be done. Because I prefer living in an RV because you see them, closer, and you can hear what they're doing.
Yeah.
Instead, if they were in their house, in their room, they close the door. Like some of you are upstairs and downstairs, you don't know exactly what they're doing. So
yeah, I think it's better for the oldest. He's 11, and we know what he's doing, what videos he's watching, what websites he's on. We're aware.
Parents in control.
Yeah, we don't need electronic parental controls. We can hear them.
Yeah.
That's cool. Which rolls into my next question. What do your kids think of this lifestyle?
For the most part, they like it. The youngest wants to know when we're leaving. Like we turned the RV on today because you have to turn it on every so often to keep the battery good. And he's like, "Are we leaving? Is it time to go in the motorhome?" And so he's always ready to hit the road. They love what we can see. It's challenging in that they don't have a solid friends group that stays with them all the time.
Yeah.
So my 11-year-old in particular, he's getting into those teen years, and we didn't, I think if he had a group of friends at our home base, like say we had been in Georgia and then we left, then it wouldn't be as big a deal, because he does have friends that he talks with on Facebook and email and Google Chats and stuff like that, but he didn't have a solid set of friends. And then to move, you can't build that solid set of friends because we're on the move all the time, and so it's really challenging for him right now.
We keep asking them too. I mean, what do you guys think? Because we can't stop anytime. We want to make sure this is not just fun for us. You know, make sure that they're with us too on the same page. And if they say, you know, we hate it, and you know, well, actually, we have a talk one time with the oldest two, say what they like, what they don't like. And majority of time, they just, you know, what they say, that having a friend that they can
Yeah, it's the only
play.
thing they
That's the
don't
only
like.
thing they don't like. Other
And
than that,
in fact, the oldest is talking about buying an RV when he goes to college to save on dorm bills, so that he could then just like take it off and go for the weekend, which I can so see him doing.
Very smart. What are some positives to this lifestyle as a family? What are some
Time.
positives?
Time, because we're not all going off into our individual places. We have time together. I
knowing
think-
each other
yeah.
too. You know,
Yeah, I know my
like
kids so much better now.
we know each other too.
Yeah, that too. But you know, with the kids, like there's no hiding, because 2 years ago, you know, they would go off to their school and I would go off to my school to teach, and he'd go off to teach, and you know, we were all apart the majority of the time.
And you come
we're
home and you're so tired.
and frustrated, and
You have more work to do.
yeah. So now we've got time together, and we've been able to see so many amazing things. My kids have 16 junior ranger badges from national parks that they've been into. We've been to even more state parks in different places, and went to the Indiana sand dunes. We went to Chicago,
Nebraska, the homestead.
Nebraska Homestead National Monument, and we were on the beach in Nebraska in a state park right in our RV. So those experiences, those are things that they will never forget. And as a teacher, I know that the more experiences you have, all of that stuff that you read in your books, and that sort of thing, you can connect to, and then you're going to remember better. So they learn faster, and it's just an amazing experience.
The little one, when we were in South Dakota, when he saw the Mount Rushmore, he used to call us faces.
Yeah, they
By
were
the
the
time we
faces.
left, he know exactly. Oh, look, that's, you know, Mount Rushmore. Now, and they know their states and all that.
Oh yeah, their U.S. geography is
so,
amazing.
That's cool. So, what are some negatives? Feel free to be honest.
I think the lack of community has been the biggest thing for us. Rainy days, I would say floor space. Like, I would love to just stretch out and do some exercise on my floor, and I can't. Alone time, maybe?
Yeah, sometimes you want to just be,
And we haven't had a date night in a while. We were really lucky when we were in South Dakota. We had a lot of that. The boys went to a Boys and Girls Club, and we had friends on in the campground that would babysit. And so here we don't have quite as much of that, and it does get to be a little old after a while.
Are you guys mostly at campgrounds, or do you boondock a lot?
We're only at campgrounds pretty much when we work at them, or when we're
and we're
or
really
when-
tired
yeah.
of boondocking.
Or yeah, like coming here, we did 2 campgrounds,
3.
3,
One in
all
Oklahoma.
state parks. Yeah, we did the one in Oklahoma for 3 days. We were only going to do 1 day, but the stupid cord for the
Throttle cable.
the throttle
for
cable
the
broke, so we had
engine.
to stay and get it fixed. We did one night in Kansas and 1 night in Nebraska. Generally, state parks when we're traveling on our own because they're cheaper. But the boys love boondocking. That's
Once
actually
we get the solar
Kelsey's
panel,
part. Oh, yeah.
planning to do the solar panel and batteries and everything, we can do more boondocking.
Yeah.
So, do you guys have a generator you do right now on boondocking?
We have the
We have one,
generator,
but it doesn't
but
work.
it works and it doesn't work. It has its own, and it's loud and it's old. So we're trying to get rid of it. That way we don't have enough. You know, we have enough weight, you know, to get rid of, and then add batteries and
Yeah.
solar panel.
Yeah, we don't really use the generator at all. So pretty much when we're boondocking, you're not allowed to plug into anything. You can use and the lights we only use a certain amount. But then when we're rolling down the road, we've got an inverter, so we can plug in laptops and Kindles, and that gets charged while we're rolling down the road.
And that's the only thing we need. We need like solar
rest of it
panel,
doesn't matter.
just for charging devices. Other than that, because a lot of people they use generators to run their
AC.
heater or AC or fridge and
Refrigerator.
anything like. If I have a solar panel just to run, because especially for a business, she needs internet. We have internet boxes. We go by everywhere we go, and if we have enough batteries, that we have enough juice to power our laptops and Kindles and all that stuff.
Yeah, we are a device family. That is where all of our charge goes, is into devices.
5 laptops, 3 Kindles, iPads,
Okay,
name
honey.
it.
We don't want someone to come and break in.
Is there anything you wish that you knew before you lived this life?
I just wish I had have thought of this lifestyle a long time
A long
ago.
time ago, yes.
Like when the boys were really little. It would, because then it wouldn't be an issue of finding community now because they would be used to this lifestyle. And they, you know, we would have been able to see a lot more, and we'd been able to save a lot more money. Part of this for us is paying off our student loans, and we would have been able to do that ages ago if
Yeah.
I mean, we owned a house for 7 years and paid out $1,000 mortgage and all of this stuff that we don't have to deal with anymore.
And we both were working.
We were both working, and it would have been a little bit easier for us to save money at that point.
So speaking of money, you guys are pretty young, and especially having children. How exactly do you guys do this lifestyle financially?
The bulk of our bills get paid by my business. So I run a teaching resource business. I taught in the classroom for 9 years, and while I was doing that, I was always making stuff for my kids. And so in 2009, I started putting some of that stuff on a website called Teachers Pay Teachers, and I had a small business. It was teeny tiny at that time. Like when we went to Morocco, I was making $300 a quarter, so $100 a month, and I thought I was rocking and rolling. We went to Morocco, and I started blogging and building it up because I needed that money to pay on those student loan bills, which were still here in the States, and the money that I was making in Morocco couldn't always be transferred in time to pay them. And so we built it up while we were in Morocco, and now it makes enough to pay the basic bills. We could survive off of it every month as long as we don't have to pay down any debt. And so that's what I do.
And I was teaching on the same
Yeah.
school, and I was teaching Arabic, so and I was making my stuff too, you know, from scratch. So I felt like, well, she approached me like, hey, you can put this stuff too on the Teacher Pay Teachers, and I put it, you know, I speak, you know, 5 different languages, and so like, well, I put on Arabic and French and Spanish. You know, I don't make much that she make. I don't blog. I don't have enough time and everything, but I make, you know.
But he
little
does.
bits
He does
here.
the majority of the work camping piece. So that's what we've been using to supplement. Sometimes it's just for a spot, like on the farms, and sometimes it's extra money. But that is helping us to pay off student loans. We've paid off about $11,000 of student loan debt so far this year, and our goal is to pay off another 9 or 10 before the end of the year, hopefully. And so that's with some of the money we've already have saved. It just hasn't gone to the student loan company. And so that's the big piece of the work camping, the farms and the campgrounds and Amazon, is that it gives us that extra to pay down.
Save, and be debt free.
So by trade, both you guys are teachers.
Yeah. I've been a teacher for 9 years.
I just finished my
He
master.
just finished his master's. That's why we had to come back to the States. And so he has a year and a half, 2 years of teaching experience and a certification now in teaching biology. But we're just not sure if we want to settle down long enough to have to actually use those right now.
Yeah, that rolled into my next question was, do you plan on full-time RVing long term?
I would love to.
Yes.
My 11-year-old is kind of starting to be done, and so we are looking at the possibility of settling for a little while, possibly buying some land and doing some homesteading, and we'll do it as long as it's comfortable. When they say, you know, this isn't working for us, we'll stop.
Then we can-
We'll stay as long as they are comfortable. We kind of have this thought in our mind that if we get the older two through high school, the youngest one loves to travel so much that he might just be like, let's go.
go.
But we'll see. You know, if they want to stay settled until they all graduate from high school, then we'll do whatever is best for them, and then we will head out, just the two of us.
It's a nice.
But by then we might head
nice
to Europe.
lifestyle. I don't know why, you know, I don't see why, you know, we're gonna stop besides just, you know, for the kids, make them, you know, happy and see what they want to do. But other than that, once they are gone, I think, yeah, we'll go back, and especially we want to do it in Europe. And,
So do you guys have any tips for families who are looking into doing this, who really want to do this but are intimidated by the finances or the space alone? I mean, you guys have a family of 5. You guys are doing great right now. Any tips for them?
I think finances is make sure you have some sort of a backup. Like, we don't have a ton of savings, but we have the business that's bringing in a regular, because there's going to be moments where the work camping jobs fall through, or something breaks and you don't want it to, and if you have just a little bit of backup. I know a lot of people say these big crazy amounts, like $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, and I'm like, we've never had that. But we, not that we choose to, but I think having some financial backup makes your heart settle easier. It may not actually solve the problem when the problem happens, but it makes you be willing to take that jump. As far as space, get used to it. There's not a whole lot,
Well,
there's just not a whole lot you can do with it.
It's, first of all, you just gonna, when you don't want to be, well, I'm ready today, I'm ready tomorrow. It's like quitting smoking. That's it, I'm gonna do it tomorrow. Today's my last cigarette. No, just go ahead and do it.
jump.
And you both have to be, on the same page.
That's a
'cause
big piece of it.
you cannot say, well, I told you this is gonna work, or you both have to be, if something goes wrong, you both gonna have to say, okay, today something goes wrong, tomorrow it's gonna be better. You cannot blame each other or point a finger and
We
everything.
see a lot of that.
Yeah.
People, one wants to
And,
do it, the other doesn't, and it doesn't work.
we just suck it up, and next day it's gonna be a better day and a good day.
Attitude has a lot to do with it then.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, and especially when you have kids, it can't be oh, I'm so sorry you have to live in this small space. It's this is what we have.
Or fighting all day and you're in a small space. You know, it's
yeah, you have to be able to get along with each other. And I'm not saying we're always happy with each other or our kids. There are moments.
Nobody's perfect.
But you have to be willing to look for the positive, and you have to be willing to not apologize to your kids that this is their life. That's a big piece of it, because if you apologize, then they start feeling like, oh, poor me, I don't have enough, I don't have this. My kids go to other people's houses now where we've got big houses, and they're like, why do they need all this space? It's such a waste. And so it's just about a shift of perspective.
I totally agree. Do you guys have any tips on like memberships to get or anything for when you're on the road? I know you guys stay at state parks a lot,
Yeah.
and so do you guys get memberships there?
No, because unless you're staying within one state, it doesn't really benefit you to get a membership, and we travel too much. We have had a Good Sam's, which we've not used.
Yeah, we had.
Because we boondock more often. And then before we started RVing, when we were tent camping, we had
Trailer.
yeah, but what was the membership we had?
Oh, the Passport America.
Passport America. That was great. That one, because, and now you're looking at smaller campgrounds or campgrounds that aren't as fancy as a Good Sam's, but you're looking at also generally a 50% deduction. Yeah.
We're thinking about, getting YMCA, yeah.
Yeah, we've been talking about getting a
It's easy
YMCA membership, because if we are boondocking and we need a shower, that's a nice, easy, go use the gym and all that, take a shower, and voila.
Do you guys use a shower in your RV?
No. We
No,
can.
we did.
Yeah, we did. When we were on the farms, we used it a little bit. It takes 30 minutes for our hot water heater to warm up, and it gives us a 5-minute shower. So it's there kind of as a backup, but for the most part, we don't, if we don't have to.
And probably another membership will say, well, the internet, you gotta have the internet on the go.
Yeah.
And a cell phone.
Especially if you have an online business.
Yeah.
That was a big deal for us, because even if you're staying in a beautiful park, a campground where you pay a good amount, the internet comes and goes. So if you're having an online business of any sort, or if you have online schooling, because lots of the homeschoolers will do the online schooling, you have to have some sort of a backup on your internet. And we only have 4 gigs. We don't pay very much for it. We don't use it very often.
Yeah.
But it's there if we need it. And that's kind of my emergency insurance plan for my business.
I'd have a plan too, or Excel sheet or something, what's out, what's coming in.
Yeah.
It helps a lot,
Yeah, because it's easy to spend a lot of money in this lifestyle. And I hear lots of people, I read on full-time families and stuff, that we spend more doing this than we did at home. And so you really have to have a plan of how you want it to be if you really want to save money.
I totally agree. So is it okay if we take a tour and meet the kids?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, so this is your casa, and this is your tow vehicle, right?
Yes.
So this is what you're living in. No slides, family of 5.
It's a bit of a mess. Please excuse the mess, because, we've got 3 kids. And so
Okay,
these are the kids.
Hi,
so what are your guys' names?
I'm Jade.
I'm Cal.
Well,
What's your name?
Sam.
He's talking on the phone.
So this is your setup. I can't zoom out too much. There's really not enough room.
That's back there's my that's my work area. If you can see my computer, and so
Work area.
then we've got homeschool stuff down there, and the bit up here too. So we got everybody's got their own shelf
And I can't do
for homeschool, and one of the boys works at this table, and one of the boys works at that table.
Lots of workspaces.
Yeah,
everywhere.
really, really important.
Extra freezer for
Oh yeah, he put in the extra freezer for meat.
just for meat.
Gotcha.
Okay, and boys, can you scooch over? I want to show off Daddy's new project.
And Michelle,
Scooch one way or the other.
Mom's
This way, this way, this way.
in 5 minutes she'll call you.
Okay, so down there, that's
Whoa.
toys, books,
Forgot about it.
games, things along those lines. And he's just added. Haha.
Heck yeah.
And that's also, there's going to be more on that, hasn't quite gone, but this is going to be our extension, because this is also our bed.
Okay, so you and your husband sleep here.
Sleep here. These foam here come down here. So it's a little bit wider, but it's really just a twin mattress.
Gotcha.
Excuse me.
No, Zaid, hold on.
So this is your guys' master / living room / workspace.
Workspace, splash, everything. Kitchen. Excuse me, baby.
Kitchen.
Yep.
Finally, I go right there.
If I could have one thing in this house, it would be just one more counter. I bake and I cook, and it's just not enough space.
Later.
Yeah, refrigerator. You want to walk?
So speaking of kitchen, how often do you guys go grocery shopping?
I big grocery shop once a month when I get.
So how in the world do you store a month's worth of food for a family of 5?
Well, the base of it to me is that I don't buy prepackaged pretty much anything. So I'm buying flour, rice, potatoes, sugar, beans, meat,
Lentils.
veggies, lentils. I'm not buying anything prepackaged, so I don't have as much of that packaging. That's a huge piece of it. But that's where the meat is. Sammy, in the back. We've got an okay sized refrigerator. I mean, it's not huge, but it does. We're about in the middle. We're about in the middle of the month, so
This is the middle of the month?
this is about the middle of the month.
Wow, that's a lot of food still.
So that's a big piece of it. Hold on, Sammy. And then we've got some storage down here, so like potatoes, onions, oil,
Wine.
wine, all of that goes down there. And then, baby, I need you to move back, please.
You have a pantry.
That's my pantry. So it used to be a clothes closet, and he took out the hang racks and made shelves. And so that's, and we store back behind. Let me see if I can do it.
But food is way more important than clothes anyways.
Oh, it so is. But
Yeah,
so,
few boys.
yeah, back behind. I don't know if I can do it. Can you see the amount of stuff, how deep this is?
Oh, wow, you have so much stuff back there. Yeah.
Okay, Sammy, hold on. So that's canned goods.
Wow.
So it's about utilizing every single inch gets used. And then I'll show you underneath if I can get all this back in here. I actually have space from my container for those now. Flour is a big thing for me because I bake my own bread. Excuse me, honey.
I'm showing you.
And so, hold on, honey. So that's rice. But this is flour. And
Ah.
I've got 2 more in there because I've got a sourdough starter and it takes a cup of flour every day plus whatever I'm baking. So I go through a lot of flour. But then back behind here these need to be refilled. This is where you can show that we're halfway through the month.
Excuse
My bean things are almost empty. And I'm having a hard time finding certain types of beans here.
me.
No, Sammy, no, Sammy. So,
Wow.
And then
That's actually really organized.
the top shelf is more. So, these are the ones we use more.
So do you do crock pot stuff often?
Crockpot stuff. In fact, these need to go in the crock pot for tonight's dinner because I totally forgot.
Oh.
Having bean burritos for dinner.
Very cool. That is very smart.
That works out well. Sorry, this takes a minute to get back in, but
No, it's
if you
fine.
don't get it in, you can't get anywhere else.
I'm noticing you guys really do utilize the space especially in the little hallway you guys have here.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's my genuinity. Everything has every single, inch.
schedule. Yeah.
You gotta
Yeah.
utilize it.
So that's calendar, which is both organization and curriculum, as well as the maps where we've been. This is our map of our family, where everybody is, because somebody is always asking, but where's Grandma on that map? And where's Yitti? And where's Aunt Michelle? And where's, you know, so that has all of our loved ones.
That is such a good idea.
For you guys?
And then curriculum for writing our date. We homeschool in French and Arabic. And then that's my meal plan and tour plan.
Very cool.
So yeah. Okay, Sammy, this way, babies.
So we'll do the boys' room.
Yeah. That's the bathroom. It's small. It's tiny. It's useless.
Okay.
This is the boys' room.
So
So this is Zaid. Please excuse their mess. I did ask them to make their beds. That doesn't mean it happened. That's Zaid's, and he has his own shelf. And then he also has this shelf up here is for his laptop. So bookshelf,
cool.
laptop shelf. This is Cal, the oldest. Bookshelf, laptop shelf. And they do have their own TV back here. Bless you. They also have a DVD player, which is over here. That's under Zaid. That's Cal's laptop
The
shelf.
DVD player goes to
Yeah.
TV.
And then this was just added. This is Sammy's, and it's really hard to see. I can't even see over it because it's kind of tall. But that's Sammy's bed. And then his shelf, he's got books on this side, and his laptops are over here.
gotcha.
And then that's their movies.
So your husband built this top part?
He built this entire
That
thing.
is so
He
cool.
built this.
That is really cool because what happened? Well, where was he before?
Well, we had some, well, he started on the dinette. The dinette turns flat. And so he started there. And then my dad came to visit. And so he, no, Sammy. So he needed a space. My dad was sleeping on the dinette. So my husband built him a piece here.
They're
And
right
so-
behind the cow's bed.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So he built these, which went here. Well, they went under.
There used to be that piece of wood.
Yeah, there used to be a piece of wood to hold them.
Oh, there's like
So he slept there. So it went all the way out here, but it's skinny, and it wasn't quite long enough, and he's growing really, really fast. Hubbub.
So he's got his own legit bed
Now
now.
he has a real bed, and then all their clothes are up in these.
And
So do you guys do laundry often?
Once a week.
Oh, gotcha.
Mommy.
Yes, baby. His magnifying glass.
Sammy, do you like your new bed?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it better than sleeping in the middle?
Yeah.
Very cool.
And backwards.
Do you like living in an RV, Sammy?
Yes.
Very cool. You get to see lots of awesome stuff.
And I can do backwards.
And you can go backwards.
Yeah, like this.
Oh, he's 4 and he's showing off. Stop, baby. You're gonna
The-
jump on somebody's Kindle.
They all do. And then
Oh, I can do that.
we have a,
Yeah. And
Bathroom.
it's easiest to come at it from this way.
so I actually don't know how to open your bathroom door.
The bathroom.
Oh, you really don't use your shower often, huh?
No, the laundry is stored in there. These are going to be mounted. They haven't yet. Going to be mounted up here for towels. Towel space is really a challenging thing
Oh, I know.
in a motorhome.
Preaching in the choir here.
So yeah, that's mainly laundry, toilet paper storage, and
Then
toilet does actually get used when we have full hookup, and cleaning supplies. And we actually have quite a bit of storage up here. So that gets used quite a bit because you've got to
Very
have all
cool.
kinds of band-aids and
heck yeah,
ointments when you got little boys.
I agree. For sure. So totally doable. Family of 5, no slides.
It works.
And in a motorhome of all things.
Back to
Very cool.
homework.
I finished this on Duolingo.
All right. Well, I thank you very much for the tour of your RV and for the interview and for showing me around and giving other people hope that this is totally possible.
It's doable. It's tight, but it's doable.
Very cool. Thank you, Heidi.
Thank you.
And Rocky, wherever he is.
He went outside to work on something.